chemical change. So a change which alters the specific properties of a substance by change in its molecular composition. Now here, remember in the previous thing, we said water remains H2O whether it's in liquid form, solid form, gaseous form, because it is a physical change. In physical change, no new substances are formed. Whereas in chemical change, new substances are formed. Okay. So whenever you have a chemical change, you have a new formation of a new substance. Now, for example, a change which alters the specific properties of a substance by change in its molecular composition is what is a chemical change. So if somebody asks you what is a chemical change, you need to say a change which alters the specific properties of a substance by change in its molecular composition. What does molecular composition mean? Meaning what molecules are present inside that substance. Okay. So if the molecules of that substance changes, means what happens? The substance also changes. So there is a change in the properties of the substance because there is a change in the molecular composition. Okay. So whenever there is a change in the properties of a substance due to the change in molecular composition, it is called as a chemical change. What is an example of a chemical change? Let's take a look. If I have carbon and oxygen, I end up getting carbon dioxide. So this is one substance. Carbon is one substance. Oxygen is another substance. When I combine these two substances, I get carbon dioxide, which is an entirely new substance. Okay. So carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide plus heat. So this chemical reaction produces heat. What are the chemical reactions that produce heat called? Yes, Pragya, a change which changes the chemical composition. Very good. So chemical change is basically whenever I have a new substance that is formed. For example, if I have some carbon and I have some oxygen, okay, I combine the carbon and oxygen, I end up getting a new element, or not element, a new compound called carbon dioxide. Okay, initially I had only carbon and I had only oxygen. Now when I combine these two, I end up getting carbon dioxide, plus it releases some heat. So this process of burning something, basically burning means it has to be in the presence of oxygen. Okay. Whenever I say burning, there has to be oxygen involved. Okay.
Ma'am, without oxygen, fire cannot work.
Exactly. So without oxygen, there cannot be any fire. An example for that is if you take a candle, burn it, light the candle, and then you cover that candle with a glass so that no air can pass, the candle will eventually die out. Okay. That happens because there is no presence of oxygen. So if you ever want to put out a fire, what should you do? You should cut off the supply of oxygen. So for example, if you have a house that is on fire, or if you burn something, then, and if you want the fire to stop immediately, what do you need to do? You need to cut the supply of oxygen, which is why if you look at those fire, what do you call those fire extinguishers, the fire extinguishers usually have carbon dioxide or nitrogen or something basically concentrated amount of that gas, so that when you release that gas into that region, it cuts off the supply of oxygen. It blocks oxygen from entering that space, and that is how fire extinguishers work. Okay. So basically, if you want to stop something from burning, you have to cut off the oxygen supply. So here I have carbon and oxygen. When these two elements combine, they end up giving me carbon dioxide plus heat. This process is called combustion. Okay.
Ma'am, what is Hg2O?
I will tell you this later. Hg is mercury. And also there is an error. It's not written like this. It is written as Hg2O. Okay, so Hg is mercury and O is oxygen, and the compound Hg2O is called mercuric oxide. Okay. All right. So now, burning of it gives us carbon dioxide plus heat. This process is called combustion. So if, for example, let's look at this example. You guys would have seen coal burning, right? So coal is nothing but carbon. Okay. And whenever I burn coal, what happens? I end up getting carbon dioxide gas. That gas that comes out of coal is carbon dioxide, and heat is produced. So whenever, when I burn something and heat is produced, that is called combustion. Is this clear to everybody?
Can you repeat it?
Burning in the presence of oxygen. Yeah, so burning in the presence of oxygen is called combustion. Okay, the process of burning in the presence of oxygen is called combustion.
Combustion or combustion?
Combustion. It is written on the slide. Yes, Pragya. It is one of the metals that is liquid at room temperature. Which are the other two metals?
So,
no, magnesium is not liquid at room temperature.
To make sure that I understood what a chemical change is. So, a chemical change called a chemical change when we take two substances and combine them.
Yes, basically when two substances combine, you end up getting an entirely new substance. Is called a chemical change. Okay. Not just two substances, it can be two or more also. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so if you guys would have seen, most of the metals around you are solid at room temperature. For example, my phone, okay, it is made out of aluminum, let's say, okay. So this is made out of aluminum, which is a metal. It is solid at room temperature. Neha? Okay, so this is solid at room temperature. My laptop is again made out of a metal that is solid at room temperature. Your plates, utensils, all of those things are made out of different kinds of metals, and they are all solid at room temperature. But there are two metals which are not solid at room temperature. One is mercury. Mercury is liquid at room temperature, and the other one is called beryllium. Beryllium is again, that is also liquid, but not at room temperature, at 30 degrees Celsius. Okay. No, did I say beryllium? I meant gallium. Gallium is liquid at room temperature. Okay, so let me just write that down. Mercury, the chemical formula is Hg. This is liquid at room temperature. And gallium.
I have a doubt.
Yes, Darshil, gallium, very good. And mercury, yes, very good. Yes, what is your doubt?
So, how do we know whether it is a chemical change or not? I mean, when we look at it, we can observe it.
Yes, Yashika, you can observe it. Whenever there is a chemical change, you have the formation of a new substance. It is not just like, yeah, it will be a formation of a new substance. You will be able to see it. Okay, another way of doing that is you can also see that either heat is released and heat will be absorbed also. That is another clue that will tell you if a chemical change took place or not. Okay, so.
And even bromine is liquid at room temperature.
Bromine is also liquid at room temperature?
So, you said we need to observe it, right?
Yeah, if you observe.
Which view do we need to observe it?
Okay, for example, when I burn coal, Pragya, your question is, what is a non-metal? Okay, good question. What are iron, aluminum, sodium, potassium? All of these are metals. If you look at the periodic table, which has the list of all the elements that we as humans have discovered over all these years, we have collected all those elements into what we call as a periodic table. Okay, if you look at the periodic table, 70% of the out of the 118 elements that have been discovered, 70 elements are metals. That means the metals that you see around you, they have like, for example, these are metals, or my phone, that's a metal. So scissors, all of these, they're all metals, right? Made out of different kinds of metals, copper, iron, aluminum, different kinds, steel, that's an alloy. But they're all made out of different kinds of metals. However, there are like lots of different metals, 70 metals, and the rest of them are non-metals. Okay.
So,
yes.
So, in a firecracker, if we just want the cracker to burn, but we are not providing the heat source.
You are basically providing a very little amount of heat to initiate the burning process, but eventually it will burn on its own, right? Okay, similar thing with coal also. So carbon plus oxygen will end up giving you carbon dioxide gas. And when you heat, when you heat the carbon, you end up seeing an orange red light. Okay, and once the coal is burnt, you will get ashes. You will not get coal again. Okay, now let's take a look at burning of crackers. You have magnesium. Magnesium is also a metal. Okay. When I burn magnesium in the presence of oxygen, I end up getting magnesium oxide. Okay, so magnesium plus oxygen will give me magnesium oxide. This burns with a flash of light, something like this. Okay, so when I burn magnesium with oxygen, it burns with flashes of light, like sparklers. Okay, then apparent weight of a substance formed differs from the weight of the original substance. What does this mean? That means if I have, let's say, 10 grams of this and 5 grams of this, then I end up, so I'm putting in 10 grams of this, 5 grams of this, I might have some X grams of this. It can be anything. Okay, so basically it may be different from the original weight of the original substance. Does that make sense? So chemical reaction in physical reaction, the weight never changes. In chemical reaction, the weight might change. Okay? Okay, now let's take a look at mercuric oxide. So what happens with mercuric oxide? When I heat, mercuric oxide is red in color. Okay? But when I heat mercuric oxide, it turns black. So red, I give heat, it turns black. When I give it some more heat, it forms fumes. Okay, so if I take a little bit of mercuric oxide in a test tube and I heat it up, the red color changes into black. Okay, now if I heat that black colored substance even more, it changes into fumes.